Hello everyone. I'm going to give a quick video on whether you should be using ancient shards or sacred shards during a summer immersion event to get the most amount of value. And the way we're going to look at this is we're going to look at the points that you get for a sacred shard versus the points that you get from an ancient shard, and what the expected results in terms of champions, and what those would be, what those expected results would be if we waited for a 2x event. So said again, right now it's a 1x event for all shards. So it's going to take some amount of sacred shards to get to a certain level of points. So we're going to say in this case for Fane, it takes a certain amount of sacred shard pulls and it takes a certain amount of ancient shards. Now, if we waited to a double X event, we can calculate what champions would get under a 2x event for the number of shards that we have to pull in this 1x event to get to the Fane level, the 3,000 points. And when we calculate this, we can then look at what the difference between what would be something versus 2x versus a 1x, and if you're better off using ancients or sacreds. So we have a summon rush event. Obviously, I'm not putting a lot of effort into this one. Um, and a lot of people are going to be doing this for two reasons. One, there's a couple desirable champions for the 10x summon event, which is standard rates, but with a 10 times chance of getting. Actually, that's really not a 10x times chance, but what they call a 10x chance to getting a specific champion. The reason why people are going to be doing this is one, because they want to get Trunda or Tyrant, and two, they want to get Fane. Now, some people are going to get Fane because they specifically want Fane. She's a pretty unique champion. She's a very interesting champion, and she can help in a lot of the PvE areas of the game. But the other reason why people might be will be going for her is we're having a fusion event, and she's necessary for the fusion event. So either you have to get her through a shard pull, you have to get her through the summon shard events, or you have to fuse her. I guess I should fuse her. Fuse her so that you can get this guy Vergumkar. I'm not going for Vergumkar on this account or any account for that matter, um, but Fane herself is worth getting. So there are going to be people pulling to get her. So we're going to go look at that event again real quick. And we're going to look at the scoring system for it. And this is a really simple scoring system, so it's very easy to do the math. You basically get we have to remember three things. We need to remember that we need 3,000 for Fane, and we get 500 for a Sacred Shard and 20 for an Ancient Shard. Now, this is different than a champion chase, where a champion chase is based on the quality of the champion. In a summon rush event, it doesn't matter what champion, the quality of the champion that you pull from the shard that you pull, it's just the type of shard that you use. So if you pulled 100 Sacred Shards, you'll get 50,000 points, and it doesn't matter how many epics or Legos. And if you pulled 100 Ancient Shards, you'll get 2,000 points, and it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. So this makes the analysis pretty easy. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this 3,000 points, and we're going to calculate how many Ancient Shards and Sacred Shards we would need if we were using them exclusively to get the 3,000 points. So we have 20 points for the Ancient Shard and 500 for the Sacred Shard. So that means we need 6 Sacred Shards and 150 Ancient Shards to get to this 3,000. Now, using the normal summoning events, we can see that 150 Ancient Shards delivers roughly 12 epics and 0.75 Legos and 137.25 rares. That could be useful if you need a Frozen Banshee or an Apothecary, or they're just chickens, and that saves you a lot of energy. There is value to getting chickens. The Sacred will give you on epic. The 6 Sacreds will give you 5.64 epics or 0.36 Legos. If we saved those 150 Ancients and those 6 Sacreds for a 2x event, we would get the following numbers on average. These are obviously on average. You get 5.2 epics, 5.28 epics for the Sacred, 0.72 Legos, and we get 1.5 Legos from the Ancients and 24 epics. So now here's what I'm saying is there's an opportunity cost. You're going to choose to get those 3,000 points through Sacreds or Ancients. You're going to give up the opportunity to use them during a 2x, and the opportunity cost is much greater on the Ancient Shards. So if you were to blow through 150 the what was it 300 150 Ancient Shards now, instead of saving it for a 2x event, you'd lose out on 0.75 Legos and 12 epics, and you'd gain roughly 13 rares, right? That's basically these two numbers to add together. And if you waited for the Sacred Shards, it's negative 0.36 and 0.3. It's 1 to 1. So by pulling your sacred shards now instead of waiting for a 2x event, you lose out on 0.36 Legos. By pulling 150 ancient shards now instead of waiting for 2x, you lose out on 0.75 Legos and 12 epics. And epics can be pretty good. I mean, some of my Dungeon 20 teams and some of my arena teams still use Argala and etc. Miscreated monster, etc. So like these epics aren't valueless. Um, Skull Crusher is not valueless. So you're giving up a lot more by using ancient shards versus sacred shards. So here's a quick way of thinking about this. The point advantage between a sacred shard and an ancient shard is 25 times. In other words, take this number divided by this. For every one sacred shard, you have to do 25 ancient shards. Well, in terms of value, right? Well, in terms of value, I'll do it with one to make it easier to see. If we this is one sacred shard, what it looks like during a double event. We'll do it with 10 so that it's not so lame looking. You have about a 38% chance of getting one Lego and a 28% chance for zero Lego. So we'll just write this down real quick. I know this is a little sloppy. I wasn't planning on showing this. 0% Lego is, I was going to call it 27.9. One Lego is 37, well, I'll just call it 38. And two Legos is 23.3. Those are the percentages of getting those amount of Legos from 10 sacred shards. Well, the mathematical equivalent in terms of getting these numbers, it's not exact during a double rate would for an ancient is 120. And you can see, the one Lego is slightly higher, 29 versus 28. Zero Legos is slightly higher. The one Lego is slightly lower, and the two Legos is slightly lower. So there is a slight advantage in terms of getting one Lego, but the odds of getting three Legos is actually higher, and four Legos and five Legos, and obviously the odds of getting 11 Legos, which is zero in both cases. But this obviously when you only pull 10 from the sacred, come on, from the sacred, it's impossible. So it starts going down really fast. So roughly equivalent from a pulling perspective in terms of getting Legos, it's about a 12 to 1, maybe slightly higher ratio. We can even call it 12 and a half if you want. What was it? About 12 and a half, so between 12 and 12 and a half to 1 on getting Legos. And, we just look at it, right? So to get one Lego, right, the expectation during a sacred event equals 1 divided by this, right, is 8.33, and to get 1 by 100 is going to be 100, and equals this, divided by this, and that gives you that 12 number. Basically, this is using the expectation, the expected amounts, not the probability. The other one was using the binomial distribution to estimate to predict the distribution, so it's slightly different. They add up the expectations are the same. From an expectation basis, it's exactly 12 ancients equals 1 sacred in terms of Legos, but you get other things on that. And part of that is rare chicken. So the answer to the question is it's more expensive to use ancient shards during a summon rush event when they're both 1x than it is to use sacred shards. So sacred shards are the cheaper. Now, if one of them was 2x, then that completely throws out. Go with the 2x one because that's the best summoning event for that champion. So if you're working on Fane or you're working on the summon rush, don't be afraid to use your sacreds. Actually, be afraid to use your ancients. I hope this was helpful. I hope that I was able to explain this somewhat intuitively and somewhat clearly. I know that this is not the easiest thing in the world. I hope everyone. I don't know why my mouse is doing that now. I hope everyone has a good summoning event if they summon, and I hope they can get their Fanes and their what are they calling that fat lizard or whatever it is, whatever the thing is. I hope everyone does well. Have a good day. Leave any comments or questions. Thank you.